August 15th, 1977. The Ohio State University Radio Observatory. Most people call it the Big Ear. For years, it has sat patiently scanning the cosmos, listening. Its task is monumental: to conduct the longest-running SETI survey in history. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It's a lonely, thankless job, sifting through an ocean of cosmic static for a single, unnatural drop of water. The telescope listens, and the observatory's ancient computer prints. Reams of paper filled with alphanumeric code, a mundane, repetitive language of cosmic background noise. Days later, a young astronomer named Dr. Jerry Ehman sits down to review the printouts. It's a routine he's done 100 times. His eyes scan the columns. 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, and then he stops. His heart likely pounds in his chest, because there, on column 1, channel 2, is a string of characters that shouldn't exist. 6, E, Q, U, J, 5. It's not static. It's not noise. It is a scream, a perfectly structured, impossibly strong signal from the depths of space. Ehman grabs a red pen. In the margin of the printout, he circles the anomaly and writes one single visceral word: wow. For nearly half a century, that single word has echoed through the halls of astronomy. The wow signal remains the most profound, the most compelling, and the most baffling candidate for an extraterrestrial transmission ever recorded. It was a broadcast that lasted only 77 seconds. It came from a direction it shouldn't have. It had all the hallmarks of an intelligent, artificial origin. And then it vanished. It was never heard again. We were looking for a needle in a cosmic haystack. Did we actually find one, only to lose it in the blink of an eye? Or did we just misunderstand the hay? This is the story of the 77-second mystery that still baffles science, and why it points to a universe far stranger than we imagine.
To understand why 6EQUJ5 made a scientist write "wow," you first have to understand what he was looking for. Searching for aliens is a problem of immense scale. The sky is vast. Frequencies are infinite. How do you decide where to listen? In 1959, physicists Philip Morrison and Giuseppe Cocconi proposed a brilliant solution. Where, they asked, would an advanced civilization choose to broadcast if they wanted to be found? They would need a universal, obvious frequency, a cosmic watering hole. They found one, 1420 megahertz. This is the precise frequency of neutral hydrogen, the most abundant element in the entire universe. It is a constant, a cosmic standard etched into the very fabric of reality. It is so fundamental that any civilization advanced enough to build a radio transmitter would know it. It is the interstellar mailbox. The Big Ear telescope was built to listen specifically to this cosmic watering hole. The computer at Big Ear was rudimentary. It measured the intensity of a signal every 12 seconds. It used a simple code. Numbers 1 through 9 represented low-intensity signals. If a signal got stronger, It started using letters. A meant 10 times the background noise. B meant 11. C meant 12. The sequence Jerry Ehman found was 6EQUJ5. This meant the signal wasn't just present, it was climbing. It started at 6 times background noise. 12 seconds later, it was E, 14 times. Then Q, 26 times. Then U, 30 times the background noise. An absolutely deafening roar compared to the silence of space. Then it peaked, and as the telescope's beam drifted past the source, it descended, J, 5, and was gone. The 77-second duration was also perfect. The Big Ear was a fixed telescope. It used the Earth's rotation to scan the sky. Any object in deep space would pass through its narrow detection beam in exactly 72 seconds. The signal's 77-second lifespan was a near-perfect match for a source in deep space. But the signal had two more, even more shocking characteristics. First, it was narrow-band. Natural cosmic sources like pulsars or quasars broadcast across a wide range of frequencies. They are noisy, messy, like a wave crashing on a beach. This signal was the opposite. It was a single, pure tone, occupying a tiny sliver of the radio dial, less than 10 kilohertz wide. Nature doesn't do that. We do. Our radio, television, and satellite transmissions are all narrow band. It is the hallmark of technology. Second, and most critically, the frequency. The signal wasn't at 1420 megahertz. It was at 1420.4556 megahertz. It was exactly on the hydrogen line, but with a slight blue shift. This shift was consistent with the Doppler effect. The source was moving towards us relative to the sun. And its origin? A patch of sky in the constellation Sagittarius near a star cluster called M55, a region with no significant stars, no planets, nothing obvious, just empty space. A strong, narrow-band, technologically perfect signal from deep space on the most logical alien frequency in the universe. It checked every single box. The discovery triggered a frantic, almost desperate search. The director of the observatory, John Krauss, was electric. He and his team immediately pointed the Big Ear back to that exact patch of sky in Sagittarius. They listened. Nothing. Absolute silence. They tried again and again. In the weeks, months, and years that followed, they scanned that region over 50 times. Not a whisper. It was as if someone had shined a spotlight on Earth from light years away, held it for 77 seconds, and then turned it off forever. The skepticism set in immediately, battling with the excitement. This is the central problem of the WOW signal. If it was a genuine intelligent beacon, why did it only broadcast once? The search expanded. In the 1980s and 90s, astronomer Robert Gray, who would dedicate his life to this mystery, used the Meta Array at Harvard and later the Very Large Array, VLA, in New Mexico, a far more powerful instrument, to re-examine the spot. Silence. He even used the Hubble Space Telescope to optically scan the region, looking for any unusual stars or signs of a civilization. Nothing. The silence was as profound as the signal itself.
In science, the most exciting answer is almost never the right one. Before you can claim aliens, you must exhaust every other possibility. And so began the Great Debunking. The first and obvious culprit, us. Could the signal have been Earth-based interference, a stray military broadcast, a weather balloon, a secret satellite? This was Jerry Ehman's first thought, but the evidence ruled it out. The signal was at 1420 megahertz, a frequency band that is internationally protected by law. It is forbidden for any terrestrial transmitter to use it, precisely because it's so important for radio astronomy. But more importantly, the signal was not stationary. It moved with the stars. It rose and set, perfectly matching the Earth's rotation. It demonstrably came from outside the solar system. It wasn't us. Perhaps it was a new type of pulsar, or a scintillation event, a flicker caused by interstellar gas focusing a distant, weaker signal like a cosmic lens. The problem again was the narrow band frequency. Natural sources are broadband. They are messy. They don't produce a single clean tone. And no known natural event, no pulsar, no quasar, no fast radio burst has ever been observed at this specific protected frequency. It simply didn't fit. For decades, this is where the mystery stalled. The signal was artificial, but the source was silent. The debunkers were stumped. Then, in 2016, a new, compelling theory emerged that seemed to solve it all. Professor Antonio Paris, a researcher at St. Petersburg College, proposed a natural culprit that had been overlooked: a comet. His theory was this: two comets, 266P Christensen and 335P Gibbs, were passing through that exact region of space in August 1977. They were undiscovered at the time, but their orbits were now known. Comets, as we know, are surrounded by massive clouds of hydrogen gas, released as they warm up near the sun. Paris argued that as the Big Ear's beam swept past one of these comets, it picked up the song of its hydrogen cloud. This would explain the frequency, hydrogen, and the duration, a passing object. It was a clean, elegant, non-alien solution. The media seized on it. "Mystery of the WOW signal solved," headlines declared. But the original astronomers, including Jerry Ehman himself, were not convinced. They immediately and forcefully refuted the comet hypothesis. First, they argued, the comets weren't exactly in the telescope's beam. They were nearby, but not in the kill zone. Second, a comet's hydrogen cloud is vast, diffuse, and spread out. It would not produce an intensely strong narrow-band signal that peaked and fell in just 77 seconds. A comet would look blurry to a radio telescope, a low-level hiss detected for days, not a singular gunshot. And third, if comets could produce such signals, why haven't we seen thousands of them? Astronomers have studied countless comets with far more sensitive radio telescopes since 1977. None have ever produced anything remotely resembling the WOW signal. The comet hypothesis, the best attempt at a natural explanation, simply did not hold water. The debunking had been debunked. We are now entering the deepest part of this mystery. All logical, natural explanations have been exhausted. If you love exploring the great unsolved questions of our universe just as much as we do, this is a great time to subscribe to the channel. We post new documentaries every week, diving deep into the cosmos. So, we are left standing in a room where all the doors have been locked except one. It wasn't us. The evidence is conclusive. It wasn't any known natural phenomenon. The physics doesn't work. What is left? This is where we enter the realm of speculation. Grounded, scientific speculation, but speculation nonetheless. We are forced to consider the alien hypothesis. If it was them, what was it? The leading idea is the lighthouse theory. The signal wasn't meant for us. It was a powerful, sweeping beacon, perhaps a navigation system or a galactic internet backbone from a very advanced civilization. We were, for just 77 seconds, in the path of this beam as it swept across our solar system. We were like a ship at sea, briefly illuminated by a distant lighthouse, before being plunged back into darkness. This explains the signal's power, its artificial nature, and crucially, why it never repeated. It wasn't for us. We just happened to be in the way. A second similar idea is the accidental leakage theory. We weren't listening to a message. We were eavesdropping on their internal communications. Perhaps it was a powerful radar burst for steering starships, or a data stream between their homeworld and a colony. In this scenario, they may not even know we are here. We just overheard a moment of their civilization's noise. But this is where the mystery of the wow signal connects to a much larger and perhaps more terrifying cosmic question. The question posed by physicist Enrico Fermi in 1950. Our galaxy is 13 billion years old. Our sun is young. There have been billions of years for other civilizations to evolve, to master technology, to expand. Statistically, the galaxy should be teeming with life. It should be a noisy, bustling metropolis. So, Fermi asked, where is everybody? This is the Fermi paradox, the great silence. We have pointed our most powerful ears to the heavens for 70 years, and we have heard nothing. The wow signal is so profound because it is the one glaring exception to the great silence. It suggests the silence isn't empty. It implies that they are out there. But the fact that in 70 years of listening, we have heard only 77 seconds of a potential transmission paints a chilling picture. It suggests that perhaps civilizations are incredibly rare, or that the distance between them is so vast that contact is practically impossible. Or, a darker thought, perhaps advanced civilizations learn to be quiet, knowing that broadcasting your existence into the dark forest of the universe is a bad idea. The wow signal is not just a data point. It's a fundamental challenge to our place in the cosmos. It's a 77-second crack in the wall of silence, offering a terrifying, exhilarating glimpse of what might be on the other side. Today, the original Big Ear telescope is gone. It was decommissioned in 1998, its land sold to a golf course. But its legacy is immortal. The wow signal has become the gold standard for SETI. It is the benchmark against which all other strange pings and whistles from the cosmos are measured. None have ever come close. It has not been solved, but crucially, it has never been dismissed.
It remains a signal in search of a source, a message without a translation, a question without an answer. In the decades since, our search has become exponentially more powerful. We have new telescopes, like the Allen Telescope Array and the FAST telescope in China, designed specifically to hunt for signals like this. We are listening to millions of channels at once, not just a few, but we are still listening for the echo of 6EQJ5. The universe is not required to make sense to us. It is vast, ancient, and deeply strange. The story of the wow signal is a lesson in scientific humility. It teaches us that the unexplained anomalies are often the most important discoveries. They are the breadcrumbs that lead us to new physics, new phenomena, or perhaps new neighbors. It is the single greatest unsolved mystery in the search for life. 77 seconds of transmission that proved one of two things. Either we are deeply ignorant about a fundamental natural process of the universe, or, for a fleeting moment, on an August night in 1977, we overheard a whisper from the stars. It forces us to keep asking the question. It compels us to keep listening. But now we want to ask you, after all these years, what do you think the wow signal was? Was it an undiscovered natural phenomenon, or was it our one brief moment of contact? Let us know your theory in the comments below.